Okay, here we go. Why did Illinois get rid of cash bail? Another civics question that I thought was worth asking. So, when it comes to cash bail, for a lot of people, that question really sounds like, does that mean everyone just gets released upon their arrest? And the answer is no. Illinois did not get rid of pretrial detention. It got rid of using money as the deciding factor in whether or not someone waits for trial at home or in jail. And that's a pretty important distinction here. So, before trial, a person that has been accused of a crime, um, but they haven't been convicted, that's where we have this whole idea of presumption of innocence, right? Innocent until proven guilty. Under the system before the Pretrial Fairness Act, judges could establish cash bond. They could set a bond. And if someone could afford to pay it, they might just go home and wait for the trial to come up. But if they couldn't afford to pay it, they just might sit in jail even before being found guilty. And critics argued that this really created a system of two different justice systems, a tiered system. You had one for people with money and one for people without money. And a person that might be accused of a serious offense might get out if they had access to enough money. And a person who was accused of a less serious offense might sit in jail because, well, they're just poor. And that is the basic fairness problem that Illinois was trying to address. And so the bill that was passed, the act that was passed, is the Pretrial Fairness Act. And what this did was it effectively changed a series of questions to when someone gets accused of a crime. So instead of asking, can this person pay? The court is supposed to ask a series of questions, right? So is this person a specific danger to someone else or to the community? Is this person likely to flee? Are there release conditions that could help manage the risk? If prosecutors want someone detained before trial, they have to ask for a detention hearing and they have to make their case to a judge. Now, a judge, of course, can still order someone held, but the reason has to be within kind of a box, and that is the reason has to be around safety or flight risk and not just the poverty level of the person. And when we're talking about civics, I think that's the most important point, because the debate is not really between jail everybody or release everybody. The debate is about what standard that government should use before taking away someone's liberty before conviction. We're all entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, or if you're a fan of John Locke, life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. But we have to have due process of law. The question comes up, supporters argued that ending cash bail better protects due process. And that means it also protects the presumption of innocence, which we're all afforded. Now, opponents, of course, come out and say they worry that it may make communities less safe or make it harder to ensure that people may not show up to court, right? It means it's harder to hold it over their heads. And really, when you look at both sides of the argument, we have legitimate concerns. There's public concerns here. But the answer that Illinois came up with was that money should not be the central test of all this. This, of course, the Pretrial Fairness Act eventually ended up in the Illinois Supreme Court in 2023, and it was upheld. And then the new system started statewide on September 18th of 2023. And Illinois became the first state to fully eliminate cash bail. So, why did Illinois get rid of cash bail? Well, because lawmakers decided that pretrial freedom should not depend mainly on how much money somebody has. It should depend on risk and public safety, court appearance, and also judicial review. Now, of course, this is a government system, right? No system is perfect. And it doesn't mean that every decision is easy, because emotions ride on both sides of the argument. But it does mean that Illinois changed the core question. And the question isn't, can you pay? Instead, it is there a lawful reason to detain you before your trial? And I really felt like that was a civics question that was worth asking. All right, so hey, thanks a lot for this one. we'll see what I can come up with next. I'm thinking about gerrymandering in Illinois as my next topic when I sit down to write some things down. So anyway, thanks again, and I look forward to the discussion.